Life in Path of Exile 2 is just bad. In this video, I'll be highlighting the big problem with life in Path of Exile 2, along with providing some possible solutions to address this issue. Whether it's through a combination of armor, evasion, or energy shield, solving defenses for your build is vital. Despite these many variables, one thing remains consistent. When your life pool reaches 0, you are dead. And right now, there is a huge disparity between these layers and, most importantly, life. Let's break it down. Since Path of Exile 2's launch on December 6, 2024, life has been in a pretty rough spot. The problem boils down to one major factor. You aren't able to get enough of it. Easily, anyway. This problem has been discussed numerous times throughout PoE 2's one-year lifespan on my own and other people's podcasts and conversations.
Where you can get your life above like 2,500. That's cool.
That is pretty cool. That is true. The fact that you can play a life character and not feel like you're gimping yourself completely.
The way players obtain life are through prefix modifiers on gear, augments, small bonuses throughout the campaign, and investment on the passive tree. Despite all of these different ways to obtain life, they don't amount to us having enough of it to withstand large amounts of damage in one single hit.
Now that's a lot of damage!
Many enemies and bosses within the game are able to kill life-based builds with big physical damage hits, especially later on in the endgame. Players have responded to this by completely deviating away from life whenever possible. This has resulted in the current energy shield meta that we find ourselves in today. Take a look at these HC SSF builds on PoE 2 Ninja. You can see here that our level 100 Titan friend has a total effective hit pool of 38k. Pretty solid. However, his max physical hit is only 6k. There may be some disparity with regards to the max physical hit calculations based on other variables, but this is significantly lower than our next example. Our level 100 Disciple of Varashta friend here has 64k EHP, is immune to bleed, poison, and chaos damage with chaos inoculation, and has a max physical hit of 20k. The difference here is massive. Think about it like this. Energy Shield and Life are like siblings, except one of them was spoiled rotten, loved, and given many opportunities to grow and flourish, while the other has been almost completely neglected. The difference here is simple. You can obtain Energy Shield in the same way you can obtain life. However, when it comes to passive tree investment, there's just so much more available for Energy Shield rather than life. Let's take a look at the areas where you can increase maximum life on the passive tree. Currently, in patch 0.4, there are only 3 nodes that provide a 3% increase to maximum life bonus: Behemoth, Unbending, and Chakra of Life. There are over 45 nodes on the passive tree that provide increases to Energy Shield. This is a 15-to-1 disparity, and it absolutely feels bad for life players. Increases and decreases to global defenses also do not apply to life scaling. For reference, there are many possible clusters to invest points into life on the Path of Exile 1 passive tree. Secondary layers of defense like block, armor applies to elemental damage, deflect, and others play a crucial role in this conversation as well. Despite block and elemental damage application working extremely well for small hits and elemental damage, the big problem still stands with large physical hits. When they happen, you will die. In comparison, if we pair Energy Shield with Evasion and Deflect, you're now not only able to dodge hits and take 40% reduced damage sometimes, but you're also able to survive those big physical hits when and if you encounter them. As I mentioned earlier, the top right of the tree also has access to the incredibly powerful Chaos Inoculation, which even further incentivizes pathing in this general area whenever possible. Now, there are different ways to mitigate life's inherent issues, but it always involves having an additional layer of defense to protect you. The Witch Hunter's Sorcery Ward is a perfect example of this. Sorcery Ward provides you with an additional amount of ward based on a percentage of your armor and evasion that you currently have. With enough investment, players can obtain upwards of 7,000 ward on top of their current health pool. With this combination, you can feel extremely tanky. I've been playing this on a shield wall build over the last week, and it's the best life build I've ever played in terms of defenses, which is totally ironic, because despite it being a life build, the way to make it good is to not scale life at all. Blood Mage is another great example of this, allowing you to overflow life at the expense of a life cost for your abilities. However, with the Blood Mage, it's absolutely not optimal to go the pure armor route, And what ends up happening is that you have a super tanky EV-ES hybrid user with double the amount of life. After reviewing the way we're able to acquire and scale more life in Path of Exile 2, it's no surprise that Energy Shield and a combination of Evasion and Deflect are the default choices for many builds. Next, let's consider some of the potential solutions that GGG can take to address these issues. The first solution is obvious. We need more life scaling on the passive tree. When facing a 15-to-1 ratio of life to energy shield increases, it's clear that this could be an effective solution. This could be achieved through a few maximum life clusters, as well as potentially having some armor and life hybrid nodes. I'm sure GGG could get creative and also add in a couple keystones that are centered around obtaining more life as well. Perhaps there could be one where we gain a percentage of our maximum armor as additional maximum life at the cost of an armor percentage, similarly to how Sorcery Ward works. The second possible solution would be to add maximum life to our items. Is it possible for armor bases to also provide an inherent bonus to maximum life in some capacity? Perhaps pure armor bases can also roll with a percent increase to maximum life alongside their armor rolls as well. These wouldn't have to be large rolls to make an extremely big difference. I'm thinking about this with regards to how much pure energy shield you can get on gear alongside passive tree investment. Consider this. If there is a desecrated prefix to increase energy shield and armor from body armors by 50%, why couldn't there be one for life as well? The third solution would be for prefix modifiers to be increased by a certain percentage, probably somewhere in the 10 to 20% range, but some testing would have to be done around this. I think that this would personally be something that would really be applicable for endgame modifiers especially, as life scaling throughout the campaign isn't really an issue. My final solution would be to increase the permanent life rewards throughout the campaign. Let's be real, the Candlemass plus 20 to maximum life in Act 1 is laughable at best. GGG could increase the life amount from the Candlemass reward and the Act 2 interlude reward, along with potentially adding in a couple more, and it might be enough. Maybe allowing us to scale life through increases to global defenses also could be enough to get life in a perfect state. If you guys have any other solutions or things to add to the conversation, I'd love to hear them in the comments below. Right now, from a fantasy perspective, it feels quite strange that our tanky warrior boys in heavy armor, wielding shields in one hand, feel like complete glass compared to a disciple of Varashta wearing cloth armor and having 20,000 energy shield. And the thing is, we ultimately don't know what GGG is envisioning for the rest of the defensive puzzle. Are they going to include missing layers like Fortify or Endurance charge buffs from Path of Exile 1? We will certainly find out. However, for the last year, this has been a prevalent issue. Solving this light problem will enable more builds to be viable on the bottom left-hand side of the tree, thus creating more build diversity, which is always good for the game. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button and consider subscribing for more PoE 2 content. Now, I've got just a few more levels until I can get Patient Barrier, so I'll be right back after that. Until then, have fun, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.